And he's like, Wayne, he said, I've decided, he said, I've heard you talk about it enough now. I decided I sent out letters to all my biweekly people, and I'm getting rid of all of them. I'm getting rid of all my biweekly people. I hope it's not a mistake. It's absolutely not a mistake. You know, do what you want to do within your business, but know that bi-weekly mowings, there's just too many negatives to it. Yeah, you can always justify why you got one or two that might make sense, and I'm okay with that. You know, here at Wayne's Lawn Service, I think we got two that we do, literally. One's a field that we do bi-weekly, and then we got one property that is a bi-weekly cut that's about 300 square feet, literally. But most of the time, bi-weekly mowings are just a pain in the brain when it comes to scheduling and then trying to keep them on schedule, especially in the spring. And who's winning on that? 99% of the time, it's the client that's winning on that, because you're taking the extra time and effort and not being really compensated for not only the job that you're doing bi-weekly, but the time that they take to do that you can't sell to somebody else on a weekly basis. Because in our business, guys, it's all about reoccurring revenue when it comes to mowing, right? Mowing, fertilization, weed control. I mean, it's reoccurring revenues, the name of the game. And when we cut down the opportunity of the reoccurrence, it's not just what are we charging for the ones we got, but how much are we leaving out there? So I'm glad to help this guy finally see the light that says, hey, I'm going to change. I'm getting rid of them. I'm going to weekly service. Because what you'll find out is some of those customers are going to switch over to weekly service because they like you. Just that simple. You think, oh man, I can't do that. I'm going to lose my customers. No. I guarantee you a certain percentage of them are going to switch over with you. And you just tell them why. Just tell them why. You're doing it. Hey, I can't afford to do these anymore like this. It's the bi-weeklies and the little old ladies on Social Security, and I mean this with all due respect to both. They're the ones that get a lot of us started, but they're also the ones that take us down as we try to grow. So it's a good starting point maybe, or we think it's a good starting point, but at the end of the day, it's really not. You know, I was talking to a contractor the other day, and I just got to share this story with you guys because when we were talking about it, it just sent my mind in a million directions. But he was talking about employees and not finding help, and okay, and we get all that. You know, it's a struggle. I get that. But he said, you know, Wayne, it's really hard for me to maintain a 40% plus profit margin when my guys are getting 70 to 80 hours a week mowing. And I didn't want to say anything, but it's like, no, you're right, man. It's not even possible. First of all, you're not maintaining a 40% profit margin when you're paying a guy time and a half to cut grass. I'm just telling you, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. And when you look at the real statistics, I'd be willing to bet you're not even at a 40% gross margin, much less a net margin. Now you add overtime to it. You know, it's hard to make money mowing grass. When you look at, you know, you guys know I'm not a big fan of industry standards and things like that. But when you look at our industry as a whole, and you look at some of the benchmarks that are out there that a lot of these trade magazines and associations do, the numbers don't lie that nearly half, say it one more time, nearly half of our industry is operating at 10% or below on the mowing side of their business. Now, I know there's a lot of you guys out there listening saying, well, that ain't me. I know that's not me. And I can also tell you this, that probably at least 85, 90% of the companies that I have worked with in the past, they didn't think it was them either till they start including all their expenses. And then start trying to understand what really profit margin really is. Because we get hung up and we get lost in that a lot. I was lost in it for 9 years. We got to know our numbers. And this guy that I was talking to, he's not stupid. He's not stupid. He just really doesn't have a good enough handle on the numbers to understand it. And why do we want to put ourselves, our employees, our companies, and maybe even most importantly, our customers, for God's sakes, in that position to where they're getting 70 hours a week? Because if it's taking 70 hours a week on a regular basis to get something done, people are waiting too long. People are waiting too long. And what's that tell you as the owner, maybe? What's that tell you as the owner or the manager? That tells you a couple things. Number one is, I better be bidding these jobs right from a pricing standpoint, because if my labor's going time and a half every week on these things, I got to be charging enough or I'm out there doing it for fun. And the other thing I think we got to think about is, when do we look at our own self and point a finger back at you, the owner, and ask yourself why you don't understand capacity? What is your capacity on a mowing crew? What should it be? A lot of us can determine it. Some of us have no idea how to. But maybe most importantly is, we don't care. We just keep saying yes, 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 yes to the client. We add somebody else on, and we add somebody else on. And then the frustrations that brings along. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough daylight. We're rushing our jobs. We're hurrying the jobs, so our customer turnover is great. Our employee turnover is great because they're tired of working daylight to dark 7 days a week. There's simple solutions to it all. But what you got to be willing to do is ask yourself, how long do I want to keep doing it like this? How long do I want to keep paying 70 hours a week or 60 hours a week or 80 hours a week, or you fill in the blank what it is for you? And is my bidding process compensating for all that overtime? Or, to go down another road, am I just getting creative on how I pay my help too? Which, that's another day, another story. And that's what I think a lot of times happens with that too. So we got to give it a little more thought than just keep saying yes and then saying, well, I can't find people that want to work. You as the owner, or me as the owner, yeah, we're going to have plenty of hours. I don't know the last time I had a 40-hour week. But when it comes to a production standpoint, if you're going to consistently be running 60, 70 hours, make sure that you've calculated those jobs based on that type of production cost from a labor standpoint.